Sometimes healing doesn't come in the ways we expect. It doesn't arrive with fanfare or applause. It doesn't always come from therapy rooms or self-help books or grand breakthroughs. Sometimes healing begins quietly, in the soft moment when we finally admit to ourselves that something still hurts, that something has been buried, left unsaid, left unresolved, and we're tired of carrying it. This is a conversation about forgiveness, about reconciliation, about the deep, unseen wounds we carry far too long. And it's not just about others, it's about the relationship we have with ourselves, our past, our mistakes, our regrets. It's about reaching a point in life where we long for peace more than pride, where we long for closeness more than being right, and where we realize that some doors won't stay open forever. You may be watching this because there's someone you haven't spoken to in years, or maybe because there's a part of your story that still feels tender. Maybe you've forgiven everyone except yourself. Or maybe you're simply ready to stop carrying what no longer belongs in the season ahead. Wherever you are in your journey, you're not alone. This space is for you. This moment is yours. Take a breath, open your heart, and let's begin together. Chapter 1, The Quiet Ache We Carry. There comes a time in our lives, often later than we expected, when everything slows down. Not just the world around us, but the pace inside us. Things that once felt urgent begin to fade into the background. The noise of the world, the pressure to do, to prove, to chase, it all quiets. And in that stillness, memories begin to rise. They don't knock. They don't shout. They just appear like soft ripples in a still pond, gentle but undeniable. Some memories come like a warm blanket. They wrap around us, remind us of who we were and how far we've come. A grandchild's laughter, a shared sunset with someone we loved, the smell of something cooking that takes us back to a simpler era. But others come like a cold breeze, sudden, sharp, unsettling. The face of someone we lost touch with, the echo of a fight we never made right, the silence after something we should have said, the ache of regret. It lives in places we don't always visit, and we carry it, sometimes without even realizing it, for years, decades, like stones in our pocket, weighing us down. Not just emotionally, but physically too, because the body remembers what the heart tries to forget. We don't talk about it much. Maybe we don't know how. Maybe we think no one else carries this kind of quiet sorrow. But if you've lived long enough, you've likely known this ache. And today I want to sit with you in it, not to stir pain, but to gently begin something that many of us never learned how to do. To forgive, to reconcile, to heal, not for anyone else, but for you and for the life that still remains ahead of you. Chapter 2, Understanding the Wound. Before healing can begin, we must name the wound. And that takes courage. It means slowing down enough to look at what we've buried, to feel what we've numbed, and to admit this still hurts. Maybe it was something someone said, a cruel remark in a moment of anger. Maybe it was a betrayal from someone you trusted, a partner who walked away, a friend who turned their back. Maybe it wasn't what they did, but what they didn't do. The absence of love, the lack of support, the never heard words, "I'm sorry, I'm proud of you, I love you." Or maybe the pain came from your own choices, something you said in anger that you wish you could take back, someone you pushed away when they needed you most, something you failed to do when you had the chance. And now it haunts you in the quiet moments, in the what ifs, in the nights you lie awake, wondering what could have been different. These wounds don't just affect the past, they shape who we become. They influence how close we let people get, how quick we are to defend ourselves, how much we trust or don't trust. And the longer we ignore them, the more they harden us. We begin to think that's just how I am now, but it's not who we are. It's who we've become in response to pain. Acknowledging the wound doesn't make us weak. It makes us human, and it makes healing possible. And that's where forgiveness begins. Chapter 3, What Forgiveness Is and What It Isn't. So many of us grew up with confusing ideas about forgiveness. Some of us were told it means forgetting, that we should just let things go and move on. Others were taught that forgiving someone meant excusing them, making what they did okay. And because of that, we resist it. We think, if I forgive them, then they win. Or worse, then I lose. But true forgiveness isn't about anyone winning or losing. It's about choosing to be free. Forgiveness means you stop giving the pain permission to control you. You stop waiting for an apology that may never come. You stop replaying the moment over and over again, hoping it will make sense. You choose peace, not because they deserve it, but because you do. It also means you may still feel the pain. Forgiveness doesn't erase the memory, but it transforms the power that memory holds over you. It says, yes, this happened. Yes, it hurt, but it no longer defines me. And forgiveness is not a one-time thing. It's not a light switch. Sometimes it's a daily choice. Sometimes you'll think you've let it go, and then something triggers it again. And you'll need to forgive all over, not because you failed, but because healing is not a straight line. It's a spiral. And each time you come back to it, you come with more strength, more clarity, more love for yourself. Chapter 4, The Courage to Reach Out. Then comes reconciliation, and this is something entirely different. Forgiveness is something you can do on your own. But reconciliation, that's about relationship, and it takes two hearts willing to meet. Reconciliation means extending a hand, not to reopen the wound, but to find peace within it. It might mean picking up the phone and calling someone you haven't spoken to in years. It might mean saying, I'm sorry, or I was hurt by what happened, or I miss you. It might mean sitting across from someone you once loved and sharing your truth, even if your voice shakes, even if your heart races. But here's the truth. Not everyone will be ready to reconcile. Some people may not respond. Some may reject the effort. Some may have changed too much, and that can hurt. But the act of reaching out, when done with sincerity and grace, is still powerful. It shifts something inside you. It tells your soul, you tried, you honored your heart, you made space for healing. And sometimes, beautifully, they respond. They open their heart too. And in those rare moments, something sacred happens. Years of pain start to melt, not all at once, but enough to breathe again, enough to smile, to laugh, to hold each other in the fullness of forgiveness, and to say, we made it through. Chapter 5, When Reconciliation Isn't Possible. But what if reconciliation isn't possible? What if they're gone? What if the person you need to forgive has passed away? Or what if they've shut the door completely and you can't get through? It's one of the heaviest kinds of pain, that feeling of unfinished business. The words you'll never get to say, the hug you'll never give, the healing you'll never share together. But even then, reconciliation can still happen. Within you, you can write them a letter. Pour every word you've ever wanted to say onto paper. Read it out loud. Cry if you need to. Scream if you must. And then let it be. You can go to a place that reminds you of them. Sit with their memory and say what your heart needs to say. No one else needs to hear it. It's between you and them, or maybe just between you and God, because sometimes the most important reconciliation isn't with another person. It's with the past, with yourself, with the younger version of you who didn't know better. who did the best they could with what they had. That person deserves your compassion too. Chapter 6, The Gift You Give Yourself. Here's what forgiveness and reconciliation truly are. A gift you give to yourself, a gift of release, of lightness, of freedom. When you forgive, you stop dragging the past behind you like a heavy suitcase. You let go of the need to be right. You let go of the anger that's been poisoning your joy. And you open yourself to something softer, something kinder. You make space for love again, for connection, for the kind of peace that doesn't depend on anyone else's choices. And it's not too late. It's never too late. You could be 60, 70, 80, or older. It doesn't matter. Healing is not measured by age. It's measured by willingness. You have earned the right to live with an unburdened heart. You have survived so much already. And now you have the power to choose how the rest of your story is written. Not as a story of bitterness or regret, but as one of redemption, of softness, of grace. Chapter 7, Before It's Too Late. If you've been thinking about someone who hurt you, or someone you hurt, this might be the time. If there's a conversation you've been putting off, don't wait, because time is not a guarantee. Opportunities come and go. And sometimes when we think we'll always have tomorrow, tomorrow doesn't come. I'm not saying rush it. I'm not saying force it, but begin. Even if it's just in your heart, even if it's just a single word, start. If this spoke to you, I'd love for you to be part of this growing community. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. This space is for healing, for reflection, for real connection. Thank you for being here.